Welcome back to Book You TV. Now, our guest this week is Alice Huskisson. She's author of The Man in the Haystack. Now, guys, we're in deep doo-doo here as our faults are about to be continually pointed out here, so everybody listen carefully. Now, Alice, 5-star reviewers described your book as a chick-lit masterpiece, better than Bridget Jones. Now, at least in the film, Bridget has difficulties finding Mr. Right. Is what they're saying an apt comparison? And how would you describe your search for Mr. Right?
It's been very difficult over 40 years, you know, and still not settled down. It's a hard task, but I'm not alone in this, Dennis.
You started out by blogging the history of some of your bad experiences. Share with us, without obviously naming names, some of the specific bad experiences and what it was you were looking to learn from them.
I had a rather weird experience with a guy I started talking to online. I ventured into the online dating scene. You meet some great people there, but you also meet some strange ones. This particular guy, we'd arranged that we would meet, and he sent me an email saying something like, it's always disappointing when a moose turns up, but you seem okay, so I think we'll get on all right.
I'm just trying to think what could possibly be going through somebody's head, but then again, it probably wasn't his head talking at that point, in terms of why would anybody put a line like that in a note to somebody that you're trying to woo?
These are the questions I ask, Dennis. I don't understand these men. It's so easy to say something nice, isn't it?
Well, I mean, let me see if I have this. If I have this right, I mean, in essence, and I know it has a derogatory sort of sense to it. You're still in. You call it wooing. You're still in the selling process.
Oh, definitely, yeah.
If you're in that selling process, you would think that if the deal is not closed, you still have a lot at stake, right?
Absolutely. You've got a lot of work to do, a lot of impressing to do. And they don't understand how to do it. Or if they do, they're just not serious about finding somebody. So
what is it? Is it that the men misrepresent themselves from the beginning, saying that, oh yes, of course I want to be involved in a serious relationship, and then their true colors come through?
Maybe sometimes, not all of them. Some of them start out quite genuinely. Maybe the woman finds them more attractive than they find the woman, and therefore they started out online very interested in the woman. But when you actually meet, it's completely different. You know, sometimes you don't look like the photos that you've put online. The person isn't as impressed with you as they were. You get mixed messages. You think one thing, and then you go along to the date, and that person turns out to be something completely different to what you've built up in your head. Practically every date I ever had was unsuccessful from the online dating situation.
Is that because online has this culture of anonymity? I mean, we talked about this yesterday at the college that I was at, trying to help these students understand how to be safe online. But is it anonymity, or is it allows people to shelter themselves more?
I think it's more the latter. You can ease yourself into it gradually. You can talk to the person as much as you want before you decide to meet them. You have to be very careful as well. You don't really know who you're dealing with, so you kind of get a gut feeling as to whether that person is genuine, or more so that you're going to be safe when you go and meet them. That's the main thing.
Now, obviously, technology has changed, and we're at a point where, for example, we're talking via a Skype video call. So you not only get the written clues from an online typing exchange, but you also, to some extent, get to look that person in the eye. Is Skype a tool for this, or is it something that's rarely used?
Yes, very much. I didn't use Skype. I used Windows Messenger. But
Well, I'm sorry, I wasn't necessarily trying to promote any one platform over the other. I mean, you've got FaceTime, you've got Windows Messenger, you've got Facebook and others. But is this visual two-way sort of messaging, does that help?
it does, but I wouldn't have ever done webcamming straight away. It would always have been talking in email, maybe texting, and then moving on to webcam. I used it a lot. It's very helpful. But again, I mean, webcams, they're not very forgiving, and it's like going into a photo booth, having your picture taken in a photo booth. You still don't get a real impression as to what that person looks like until you're actually standing face to face. But you do get, obviously, a better idea.
So I guess the question is, Alice, are we men of the species trainable? Can we change, and if so, how?
That's a bit of a leading question. I suspect if you are actually ready to settle down and you feel you have found the right person, then you will go to the end of the earth to make that person feel happy. But I guess if you haven't met the right person, then you're still going to be playing games.
Desperation, for lack of a better word, comes across very clearly, both in writing and in face-to-face and things of that sort. And you know, it can be a real turn-off from what I'm told. So
yeah, that's true. But that can go both ways as well. You know, I've had many emails from guys who are just quite suffocating. I had a guy who used to phone me up. We'd been texting, we'd been emailing for a long time. It seemed genuinely nice guy, but then he was phoning every night, and I couldn't get him off the phone, and it was just so much desperation coming from him that I didn't take it to the next level of meeting him. I already knew it wasn't right. You've got to feel comfortable both ways. And I'm sure there's many, many, many genuine guys out there, lovely guys. It's just that if you're not in the right place at the right time, it's not going to work.
Well, when we return with part 3 of our interview with Alice Huskisson, we'll dive deeper into this psyche of men and how Alice has our number when Bookview TV continues. Stay right here.